So I've put some distilled water into this pot so that I can boil it before I put it into my steam engine. That way I don't have to wait as long before I can start running it. So now all I have to do is just wait for about 5 minutes before I can get it boiling. So this is my steam setup. I have a Wilesco D14 and I mounted it onto a piece of wood with a bunch of coats of polyurethane, and I have a box full of supplies. So I've had this water going for a while on the stove, and as you can see it's close to boiling, but not quite. So I'm putting it into a little cup so that I can get it into the funnel easier to put it into the boiler. So I put it in a little bit at a time until I fill up the boiler. So I filled up the boiler most of the way. I don't want too long of a run, so I'm not filling it up all the way. Now I'm going to bring it outside and light up the burner so that I don't stink up my house. So now that I have my steam engine outside, I have to put the whistle and safety valve onto it. That way it seals up the boiler. The next thing I do is lubricate my cylinder. You'll see right there that there's a cap. That's where the oil goes in. I use a special type of oil for my steam cylinder. It's called steam cylinder oil. I always use this stuff. Don't use anything else. Now just put a couple drops in there. Don't need too much for a run. And I also lubricate my bearings. Then I usually give it a couple good spins before I put the cap back on. Next thing I do is I take out my burner tray, and this is where I put my esbit tablets into. An esbit tablet looks like this. They're dry spirits. I usually put 2 tablets in for the beginning of my run. And then what I do is I take my lighter and I light it. Okay, now that they're lit, I just put them in there, and now I have to wait a while until the pressure in the steam engine gets up high enough that the cylinder starts to move. So it'll probably take 3 minutes or so before it starts going. Okay, now it's been going for about 3 minutes or so, and you can probably hear the water boiling, and I can tell that it's ready because the whistle is working. I use a glove. Some people like to use some pliers to open the whistle, but I find that can damage the whistle. I just give it a spin, and then it just keeps on going. Now you might be able to see the steam coming out of the smokestack. Not all steam engines do that. That's a feature of mine, is that the exhaust from the steam piston goes directly into the smokestack. This particular steam engine has a double acting cylinder. You might be able to see that where I put the oil in earlier is where there's a valve that opens and closes in 2 different directions so that the piston pushes and pulls. on this side, there's a flywheel. The flywheel keeps the cylinder going so that it has a smoother stroke. And there are two pulleys right here that are connected to the drive shaft. I can hook things onto that, like an erector set or anything I want, like a dynamo. So the water's boiling right now, and I'll show you the safety valve. When the pressure gets too high in the boiler, the safety valve will open like this, so that the boiler doesn't explode. There. That's all it takes. Now it will continue to go for about 10 or 15 minutes before I have to do anything to it. I might have to give it more esbit tablets though until then. Here it is running right now. You might be able to see the flames. So I'm getting pretty low on water. I only have about half a tank.